Welcome back. So we are studying John Donne, MCQs on John Donne's poetry and his life. So John Donne was born and died. So he was born in 17, that happens to be missing here. Let me get it for you. So that John Donne's birth was there in 1572. So John Donne was born in 1572 and died in 1631. So this was his time frame. In Lover's Infiniteness, what does the speaker demand? So the speaker in this poem demands all of his lady's love. कि वो उसे कहता है कि मुझे सारी मोहब्बत दे दो अपनी, तुम्हारे जब मैंने तुमसे फर्स्ट टाइम इज़हार मोहब्बत किया तब जितनी तुम्हारे दिल में मोहब्बत थी अब जितनी मोहब्बत है, so whatever you are having, whatever feelings of love that you are containing in your heart, मुझे वो सब की सब चाहिए. As he wrote Good Friday in 1613, riding westwards, where was Donne actually going? So he was going towards Wales, जो कि England का ही एक part है. What author named a book after a line from Donne? So that was Ernest Hemingway. उसने John Donne को praise इतना मुतासिर हुआ कि उसने उसके ऊपर book लिखी. So John Donne held what office at St. Paul's later on अपनी life की later stage पे? So that was the post of dean. He became a dean at St. Paul's. What illness did Donne suffer from before writing the Meditations? So it was spotted fear, which was quite deadly in those days. What was the occupation of Donne's father? So he was an ironmonger. एक ironmonger था वो. Where did Donne fight as a soldier? That was Guards, Spain में. Death Be Not Proud is part of what group of poems? So इस poem के group को Holy Sonnets कहा जाता है. The Holy Sonnets जो कि John Donne ने later stage पे जाके लिखी, अपनी life के later stage पे. Donne की जो earlier life थी, that was full of romance, that was full of frivolity. Typically a young poet of England. So he was filled with all those habits जो कि उस जमाने में लोगों की होती हैं. So he was much loved among the girls. उनके अंदर इसकी बड़ी popularity थी. Afterwards he turned to religion. So जो उसका father था, being an ironmonger, related to certain works like hardware. So कोई बहुत ज़्यादा rich नहीं था, but still he was very you can say a wanton kind of a person in his early life. So in the Sunny Rising, the poet calls sun what? So he calls the sun as a busy old fool. Busy क्योंकि it is all the time busy, 24/7. Old, it's been old, it's been ages के सूरज निकल रहा है, तो काफी उम्र हो चुकी है इसकी. फूल किस लिए कहता है? क्योंकि उसका वो लॉजिक देता है कि सूरज पूरी दुनिया का चक्कर लगाने के बजाय हम लवर्स पे चमके तो ज्यादा बेहतर है, क्योंकि हम पूरी दुनिया को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. So in the Sunny Rising, the poet compares himself with half of the world. So he compares himself with one sphere and his beloved with the other half. So वो कह रहा है कि हम दोनों मिलके पूरी दुनिया बनाते हैं, क्योंकि मेरे लिए मेरी beloved पूरी दुनिया है और उसके लिए मैं complete दुनिया. So in this way हम दोनों जब एक पूरी दुनिया है तो सूरज को चाहिए कि सिर्फ हमारे पास से होके वापस चला जाए, टाइम भी बचेगा, एनर्जी भी बचेगी. What was the name of the poet who created the term metaphysical poets? So that was Samuel Johnson, जिसने ये term coin की थी. In dash work did Samuel Johnson use the term metaphysical poets? So what was the work? So it was Lives of Most Eminent English Poets. इसमें ये term coin की गई थी इस book के अंदर. From the following poets, Rags said about John Donne, he affects the metaphysics not only in the satires but also in his amorous verses, where nature only should reign. So who said this? It was said by John Dryden. Dash term is related to metaphysical poetry that proposes the tendency of these poets to display their learning in poetry. So that is wit that metaphysical poets are using, exhibiting their knowledge and learning. Poets associated soul with a drop of dew in one of his poems. So this was Andrew Marvell. So Andrew Marvell ने ये इसको अपने एक poem में use किया. In Donne's The Apparition, which of the following symbols insinuates the death of the women who the narrator is in love with? So that is Quicksilver. So Quicksilver जो है, that is used in the poem The Apparition by John Donne. Donne was married to Anne More, who later on became Anne Donne. And afterwards, when they were having bad relations, so he said John Donne, Anne Donne, undone. So John Donne was born into a family that was Dash, but he became a Dash priest. So that was Roman Catholic family initially, but later on, John Donne turned Anglican, means Protestant. John Donne was on the path to success. He was a private secretary to a high court official, Sir Thomas Egerton. तो इतना सक्सेसफुल करियर रून कैसे किया कि उसकी नीस यानी एन मोर यानी एन डन उसके साथ ये भाग गया था, सो उसका करियर खराब हो गया. Henry Wockham experienced a spiritual awakening inspired by the poems of what metaphysical poet? So that is George Herbert. So a bit irrelevant here, but he happens to be from metaphysical poets. The metaphysical poets employed many extended comparisons, and they're known as conceits. So John Donne also uses those extended metaphors, which are known as conceits. He wrote a book. He wrote of both a divine mistress and a cruel mistress. So this is by Thomas Carew, who was also from the same lot. What Donne poems contains these lines: if ever any beauty I did see, which I desired and got, it was but a dream of thee. So it is the good morrow. So good morrow means good morning. So he is referring to the beginning of their love. Death be not proud. So this is a quotation, the line from the poem. Death be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful. So the missing word is death. What Donne poem is a play on Marlowe's passionate shepherd to his love. So that is bait. The bait was the poem. A Nocturnal upon Saint Lucy. So this poem was probably written on his wife's death. John Donne dedicated his holy sonnets to whose mother? So that was George Herbert's mother when he died. So Donne attributed his sonnets to her, holy sonnets. John Donne's The Anniversaries. There were two poems on anniversary. So basically in two parts. So that is basically an elegy written in two parts. Mercy hai, jo ke do parts mein likha isne. His father died when he was just 4 years old, and his mother remarried. So it was quite young age for Donne to lose a father. The life of John Donne coincided with the reign of which absolute monarch? So that was Elizabeth I, James I, and Charles I. So to some extent, there were certain elements common. In Donne's The Indifferent, which is the only quality that the narrator dislikes in a woman? So that is truthfulness. So this is the only quality that the narrator dislikes. In valediction forbidding mourning, how does Donne describe the death of virtuous people? So he says in this that the virtuous people die silently. तो वो बड़ी खामोशी से मर जाते हैं. In canonization by John Donne, for God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love. So love is in the blank. So this is very famous phrase by him. The first and last stanzas of Donne's Better My Heart include a large number of which of the following word classes? Noun, pronoun, verbs. So that is verb. He uses verbs कि मेरे दिल को जला दो, burn कर दो, better करो, तोड़ दो, दोबारा से reshape करो. So वो मुख्तलिफ verbs use करता है. John Donne's love poetry is written at 3 levels. Yani first level at like for his beloved, who was also his wife, and then about disloyalty of women, and then about his like divine poetry about God. The Good Morrow refers to the dawn of true love. So it's not only a morning, but also a beginning of a love relationship. The Good Morrow includes the religious conceit of 7 sleepers stand. कि वो उसमें बताता है कि जिस तरह 7 sleepers असाबे काफ सोए रहे, एक लंबे अरसे बाद उठे तो दुनिया नई थी. वो कह रहे हैं हम भी आज से पहले मोहब्बत एक दूसरे से मोहब्बत करने से पहले ऐसे है कि हम ऐसे लगता था कि हम सोए हुए थे. असल अब हम जागे. Despite his great education and poetic talents, Donne lived in poverty for several years. The father was ironmonger. Plus he did not have much inheritance. फिर ये भाग गया, उसके बाद इसको बहुत ज़्यादा सफ़र करना पड़ा. तो अपनी तमाम तर क्वालिटीज़ और एजुकेशन के बावजूद he spent most of his life in poverty. So Donne secretly married with Queen with Anne More, and they had 12 children. He was appointed chief secretary to the Lord Keeper of the Great Seal, Sir Thomas Egerton. So it was a good post जो कि उसने अपनी बेवकूफ़ी से lose कर दी. In 1615, Donne was awarded an honorary doctorate in divinity from the Cambridge University. So divinity में इसको honorary PhD की degree मिली थी. His satires deal with common Elizabethan topics such as corruption in the legal system. So उसने इस पे भी satirical works लिखे. ये lines कहाँ से ली गई? From Twickenham Garden, blasted with sighs and surrounded with tears. Hither I come to seek the spring, and at mine eyes and at mine ears receive such balms as else cure everything. In Twickenham Garden, Donne calls love as spider love. तो वो love को spider love के नाम से बुलाता है. यानी एक disloyalty of women के ऊपर लिखी गई ये poem, तो उसमें love को वो spider love से तशबीह देता है. Spider ये क्या करता है? This turns manna into gold. कितना डेडली है कि ये मन्नो सलवा को भी जहर में तब्दील कर देता है. यानी वो प्यार को कह रहा है कि प्यार इंतहाई डेडली चीज है, पॉइजनस है. Song Go and Catch a Falling Star is the theme of, so it is the theme of disloyalty of women. That is the theme of the poem. Disloyalty of women is described in this कि वो कहता है कि आप दुनिया में जहां मर्जी चले जाओ, आप लाइक आपकी आईज ऐसी हो कि आप इनविजिबल चीजें देख लो, आपके पास 1000 years की लाइफ हो, still you will never be able to find a woman who is true and fair. So this is again about disloyalty of women. Thou, when thou returnest, will tell me all strange wonders that befell thee, and swear nowhere lives a woman true and fair. So ये lines इसी poem में song Go and Catch a Falling Star में use करता है वो. And death shall be no more, death thou shalt die. So these lines are taken from Holy Sonnet, Death be not proud. So these were the MCQs from John Donne and his famous poetry,